Do you find your path into becoming confident in your gifts and your medicine and your spiritual experiences undermined by doubt? I want to talk about the relationship between doubt, our confidence, and also potential arrogance that can evolve. My name is Tania Aurora Whitecrow. I work as a shamanka, which is a Northern European term for shamanic medicine woman. So I often say that our path into confidence, we all have an experience both of arrogance and of doubt. And these sort of swinging scales, if you like, or this sort of pendulum, however you may see that, with confidence is where we are in balance, and doubt and arrogance both come from insecurity. Now, here I'm not talking about that crippling self-doubt that many of us may have experienced, where we feel we're unable to move forward and maybe loop back into that. This is an ego program that may take much work to release those layers of that self-doubt so that we can really step into our power and really start to manifest the work that we're here to do with the gifts and medicine that we carry. But being confident is not necessarily something that is admired within societies. People may want to knock you down, or maybe they'll label you as being arrogant. So you're also then potentially dealing with others' perceptions, judgments, and projections, especially if you've been somebody who has had a lot of doubts and experiences and the way that's affected you. And as you work through those layers of that doubt and you change as a person, people may have their opinions about that. So it's how, when we step into our confidence, can we keep that balance and become aware when we do tip into that arrogance or into that doubt? That's really what I want to address here today. And when that doubt gets to a level where we can see it, we can observe it, we can feel it, but it doesn't knock us off our path to such a great extent, it becomes like a tempering, this idea of tempering steel, of bringing these various components together to really kind of meld them. So it helps to temper us. It supports us with, that humility and remaining humble so that we don't tip into that arrogance. Or it reminds us that, oof, as our confidence grows and we're like, oh, I'm really good at this, and that we can tip into the arrogance, and it's part of the path. It's being aware that I've gone too far in that direction towards arrogance, or too much in that direction towards doubt, and both come from insecurity. And I've said to people over the years, we really need another word other than doubt. And it's something I've sat with for a long time. How can the value of that be expressed, and yet without all of those associations with that word? Because it's such a powerful word. The word alone can maybe create us to sort of spiral further into that doubt programming. So recently, as I was sat with that after another similar conversation, I thought, well, curiosity is the word for me, I feel, because whichever way that goes, whether that's towards the side of doubt or towards the side of arrogance, there is that curiosity about, oh, what's happened here? What is this here to show me, or to let me know about myself that I still need to work with? And And I like the idea of curiosity because it's something that is opening and expansive, and you can lean in towards something, whereas doubt, there's more of that kind of withdrawal and shutting down energy there. So I feel that that's kind of really important. And with any human attribute, there's two sides to the coin. And just over a year or so ago, I went on a retreat in Hawaii that was online for a little while beforehand. And this Hawaiian medicine man was speaking to us, and he spoke to this and takes it a little bit further than perhaps I understood that. And, he spoke about anxiety and then bringing in the more beneficial quality, which I can't remember if I'm getting this right, but say it was adventure. So what happens when you bring those two together, anxiety and adventure, is excitement. So excitement has a very similar energy to anxiety, but it also contains the energy of adventure. And so it is learning to shift our language and understand that those feelings that rise up are essentially neutral, and changing our language around them. So the doubt and the arrogance may have very different energies, but essentially it's that confidence. Confidence is the energy that I want to align with, that self-empowerment, that knowing that I am aligned with my inner knowing, and what I am expressing or what's coming through me means that I am on the right path for me, and I am doing the things that are aligned with that. So it's that confidence. But when perhaps that confidence gets a little wobbly, whichever way, it's remembering, I need to remember to say, oh, this is curiosity. This is curiosity. There's something here that I want to get curious about. And so that changing of our language, changing of the perceptions of ourselves can make all the difference. And that is what I wanted to share today. Very simple. I am talking about when we've reached a certain level on our path. Sometimes those programs can be stronger and more tenacious. And the risk is when something is that tenacious and that kind of stubborn programming and that looping back into that can throw us off balance. We can not only lose our center, but we can lose that groundedness. And it is simply always about returning back to ourselves and recognizing, oh, this is a program. This is a program. This is not who I am at our core. So returning to our heart. And I shared a simple exercise about supporting you returning to your heart. So you could take that exercise a bit deeper and go further with that. At the beginning of all of my meditations, I do a very simple exercise of grounding and connection. And I just do it to the earth. In my earlier meditations, I also used to do the connection to above, to the sun, but my guidance is just to do the heart to earth connection now, because there's so much high frequency and light and solar flares coming in. There isn't the same requirement to connect to above. It's more important that we are grounded. Okay. So as you come back to your heart and allow a cord to drop from your heart down through your lower chakras, down through your feet, down through the layers of the earth, connecting with your breath while that is happening, and feeling your breath moving through your body, down to your feet, up to your head, and all the way back round again, up and down. And then this cord is going down through the layers of the earth and then connecting in to the heart of Mother Earth with permission and gratitude. Connecting in whichever way feels right for you to her beautiful crystalline core, her heart. Feeling that heart-to-heart connection with Mother Earth, breath-to-breath connection with Mother Earth. And then breathing up that beautiful crystalline energy back up through that cord, through the layers of the earth, back up through your feet, through your lower chakras, and into your heart. Allowing your heart to be filled with the beautiful crystalline energy of Mother Earth's heart, her core. And again, feeling that heart-to-heart connection with Mother Earth. Okay. So from a grounded place, connecting into Mother Earth, when you feel this instability or this kind of this looping, and coming back to your heart, and the other exercise, seeing through the eyes of your heart, become aware of looking at it from the perspective of the earth. What is your bedrock? Okay. What is your bedrock? So that is, imagining the roots coming from your heart, through your legs, through the layers of the earth until it finds your bedrock. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? I spent many years gardening. Okay, so I often use garden metaphors within my work. So we may talk about tilling the soil and preparing the soil and planting seeds and keeping it, free of weeds and that kind of thing. But essentially, what's underneath that, the more tenacious weeds and roots that may have other uses, right? They may have other benefits and other medicine, but they are kind of tenacious. And maybe there's things that we want to grow that we need to learn how to balance these more tenacious weeds and their deep, deep roots to really be able to bring balance so that our gardens can flourish. But we need to understand that what that bedrock is like, what the deeper layers of the earth, of our earth, is like. So connecting into that, what sort of stone is there? Connecting into that, the soil of what that's like. Okay. And really becoming familiar. Is that bedrock, is it soft? Or is it hard? Is it flinty? Is it gritty? And when we become stabilized in our bedrock like that, we can start and understand that, because that is beneath the roots of anything that is tenacious, of any programs that that can seem to be persistent and stubborn, that we may find difficulty with. So it's almost like we can come up from beneath them and push them out. Okay. So I'm not really taking you through that as an exercise. I am really just giving you that illustration as an example of working with those more persistent energies. Because what I was talking about earlier with the doubt and the arrogance and that balancing is that though when we get to a point where those energies aren't as tenacious, there's still echoes and traces of them that exist, and finding other ways to counter them. All right. So I just thought I would include something to support those of you who may find you've got things that are a bit more tenacious still, so that there can be that work to uproot them out of your consciousness, recognize them as programs, and alchemize them, because everything holds a gift in it in some form. Okay, I hope that was of support for you. Sending you much love from my heart to yours.